Hello, my name is Matthew Parsons, and today I will be presenting on attracting volunteers to your organization. I am directing this presentation to the West Vancouver Soccer Club, in particular towards three individuals: Bill Sparling, the president, Jammer Ashfar, the technical director, and Julie Walker, the registrar and camp administrator. Goals of the West Vancouver Soccer Club. The first is to promote, organize, and develop soccer at the youth level. The second goal is to provide the opportunity for kids of all ages and all skill levels to take part in a positive learning experience in a sports setting. A steady stream of volunteers will help complete the two aforementioned goals. Because the WVSC is a non-profit organization, volunteers are a necessity. They comprise the majority of the coaches, and without the volunteers, there would be no teams and therefore no league. Bringing in new volunteers every year and retaining the volunteers already within the organization is a must. The data I am using comes from the General Social Survey, also known as the GSS. This survey is run by Stats Canada and includes information about demographics, volunteering, and civic engagement. A total of 299 responses were recorded to be used. The first graph shows the amount of people who volunteered for a sports or recreation organization and the amount of people who did not. As you can see, 75 people, or 25%, did volunteer for a sports or recreation organization, and 224 people, or 75%, did not. Moving on to the next graph, it shows the age of those who volunteered for a sports or recreation organization. Out of 75 people, only 15 were between the ages of 15 and 24. The problem. From a total of 299 people, only 75 volunteered for a sports or recreation organization, and an even smaller number, at 15, were between the ages of 15 and 24. To put it simply, not enough teenagers and young adults are volunteering. My first recommendation is to remember that the online world is your friend. Use it. Spread the word through social media. Not all people know about your organization, and not all people know they can volunteer for your organization. The more people that know, the better. Also, make the volunteer page on your website more noticeable and more user-friendly. My second recommendation is to give the people a reason to volunteer. It can be a straightforward reason, like informing them that volunteering would look good on their resume, or volunteering will help them get a job in the future. Both recommendations are extremely easy to do and will still help bring in many volunteers. Moving on to the next slide, this graph shows the length of time a volunteer spends with a sports or recreation organization. As you can see, most people tend to stick around for longer than 1 year, but after that, the numbers start to decline until the 8th year. The graph also shows that a significant amount of people stay for more than 10 years or more. That is a sign of a good organization. The problem here is that there's a general decline in years 1 through 7. Although the numbers do increase for the 8th year and have a significant jump in the 10 or more year category, organizations are still having trouble keeping volunteers around for a lengthy time. Having volunteers stick with the same organization for numerous years helps in multiple ways. Veteran volunteers can be counted on to do more difficult tasks. They can also help train the new volunteers. Lastly, in case of an off year, a solid core of volunteers will help overcome said off year. My recommendation for this problem is to offer incentives to the volunteers who stay with your organization for numerous years. Some possible incentives are discounts on season registration, schedule flexibility, and community credit. Incentives not only increase the chances of volunteer stays, they also increase the chance of someone applying to volunteer for your organization. In conclusion, volunteers are an essential part of the West Vancouver Soccer Club. Bringing in new volunteers and keeping current volunteers is key. Some ways of enticing new volunteers to your organization is give them a reason to volunteer and target the 15 to 24-year-old demographic through the power of social media. A great way to keep current volunteers at your organization is to offer them incentives to stay. Thank you for listening.